Coming to you live from the Poison Point studio, it's Neo!
Good evening, my esteemed watchers, and welcome to another episode of Poison Points. I'm your host, Irisu Neo, and I'm happy to have you here this evening. I have a very special guest on tonight. Elly is waiting in the wings, but I won't introduce her quite yet. Yes, welcome on in. It's a pleasure to see you all here. Lawler, PK, Wisp, Buffy, who is right under my elbow here. Table, Rig, Kemia Mistwalker, thank you for stopping on by. And I think I got everyone. Rig, yes? Hatato. Everyone from the raid. Thank you for the raid, by the way, Elly. Funnily enough. Hello, ID. Thank you for stopping on in. For those that don't actually know, ID has just revealed his new sexy form. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and drop him a follow. I'm sure that new great things are coming. So, I'm excited to see... sexy. Sexy is a good word. Regardless, thank you all for being here tonight. And, well, if you haven't already, and you're being a little bit of a introvert like I am, I encourage you to join the Discord. This month, on October 15th, we will be, holding a crab game tournament amongst community members. Can you take me down? I am the crab game queen. Nobody's better than me, and just simply a fact. But if you think you can beat me, then by all means, please join us in the server. If not, well, it's totally fine. You can sit there and act all pretty if that's what you desire. Otherwise, you can follow me on my socials at Irisu Python on both Twitter not Twitter, not yet, at least. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. At Irisu Python on YouTube and on TikTok. And, on top of that, I also have a Ko-fi, that you can see in the description down below, the about. And if you want to help support the channel in any way, these take a lot of time to make, a lot of mental planning, mental preparation. I do my best to make sure that every stream is tailored to the guest that I have on, and making them feel welcome in turn, and on top of that, the promo. I also must apologize. I just started up a cup of coffee, and it is actually already having effects on the way I'm speaking. I'm wanting to speak more than I think. Truly. Decaf may be the brew of villains, but I need it. Yeah. I guess I am revving up a little bit, yes. 0 to 60 in under 10 minutes. Yeah, it happens to me, and I've honestly only had like 7 sips, maybe even less than that. So, yeah, blame Lyra for that one. Every single member of the Nova Swarm crew is going to they're going to bestow upon me a bad habit that I will be able to escape. So, well, okay. I work with old people. I work at a retirement home, and all they are allowed to drink is decaf because it's not good for their health to have normal coffee. And you would be surprised. Some of the blends that they have there for decaf are not that bad. Now, it does taste like water, but you can definitely fix it up. Yeah, poor elderly. Some of them do break the rules because, they're elderly. It's a retirement home, and they do get their own cups of coffee. But we let them live their best life as, that's the best that we can do for them. So, I am curious. This is a question for chat. If, for whatever reason, you decided that you were going to do something that was life-altering, like it could kill you, the risks involved, would you be willing to listen to somebody who will do nothing but stop you from doing that thing? A lot of people bring this up when it comes to like drugs. And I used to have the opinion that you should try to stop somebody if they're doing drugs, but there's a certain point where like it's their life. They chose it. This is what they want to do. You can't really change them. So let them live to the fullest what makes them happy until it starts taking effects on other people. But I don't know why that come up. The coffee. Hold on. Maybe I should have another sip. Maybe that'll help quell the brain demons. They're gonna have to drill a bigger hole inside my head to take the demons out of it. There we go. I am having a normal brewed. I'm pretty dark, so yeah, I'm excited. And ready. Well, that's where I keep it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Listen, you all live inside of my head, and at some point you all will be here. But dark roast doesn't have as much caffeine as light roast, I know, but that isn't gonna stop the placebo inside my brain. I had a Red Bull about an hour ago, and now I want coffee too. Listen, join the club rig, but don't actually, because that is kind of hard on your heart. Unless you really, really mitigate it with water. Join the Discord, by the way. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm done goofing around. We have a guest in the background to introduce. Do you still want a functioning heart? All right, let's do this. I hope you are all ready. Get your clapping hands together, because it'll be a doozy.
Oh, come on. It's not even, like, anything good there. Oh my god. You guys, I died because I cannot walk in a fucking straight line. If I could just walk straight, then I wouldn't have died. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? No, I'm just gay. So first we ask, are hot dog sandwiches?
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Yes, this is the true Link sticker that everyone wants, right? Link with a gun.
Introducing our guest for this evening. It's the one and only Elly.
Hi. Hiya.
That was I hope that wasn't a loud intro. I forgot to do a sound check before the stream started. But
I think it
welcome.
sounded fine.
Okay, perfect. Welcome on in, Elly. Thank you for taking the hot seat this evening. Just after Lyra. So there's Crow.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Is it your birthday?
No, so the Crow calls me birthday buddy because we actually share the same birthday. We are both December 14th birthday buddies.
Okay, huge. I was gonna say I would have felt terrible if today was your birthday and nobody told me.
I'm the type of person that I hype up my birthday like hella. So if it's my birthday, you're gonna know it.
Oh yes, are you a Sagittarius?
Yes, I am a Sagittarius.
That means Crow is also a Sagittarius, just like me. We'll all join in together in horse activities.
Horse activities.
Buffy, what? Did I hear birthday? No, not quite yet, Buffy. We're not there.
Buffy's ready with the balloons coming in.
We got the clown magic ready to go. Well, with such an entrance, I hope that everyone is excited because, well, I've got coffee in my system, and anybody who doesn't know, I'm a little wild and I get a little goofy from time to time, so that may influence some of my questions, though one question never changes, and that is the question from last week's interviewee, which, yes, we all surmised that it would be Elly receiving this from Lyra. So, Elly, we have to know, if you were a gym leader in Pokemon, what type would you most likely use? And what is your ace Pokemon?
I don't know. The Dragonfly call sign VTuber. I would probably use Steel, right? No, guys.
Oh no.
I'm using Dragon. I'm using Dragon. Dragonite is my signature Pokemon because I
Okay.
love Dragonite. And the entire Dragonite line, Dragonair, Dratini.
Very cool, very cool. I was gonna say, because the Spheal and the Seal, they're kind of like tough contenders on this channel. Like Trigger, like you'll wake up the sleeper agent inside of me if you talk about the Spheals. But very cool, and very thematic. I think because Dragonite has the head wings, right? Or am I mistaken?
It's like a little like antenna.
Little antennas.
Dragonair is the one with the head wings.
Okay. Yeah, it fits the theming. You got the firefly wings, or firefly. Oh my god, dragonfly. You would think that it's the coffee. I promise you.
I mean, Firefly isn't too far of a stretch, but
yeah, bug related, same area, sort of. Anyways, I should bring up this because I actually forgot to bring this up. But Elly is the one who designed almost every single thing that you see in this scene, including the little monitor in the background, which when she saw my first stream and I was trying to make my own little monitor setup, it looked a little jank. She offered to actually make that extra little piece for me. So this area would not exist were it not for this wonderful lady in front of me. So thank you, Elly.
no problem. I do need to mention that I actually need to fix your chair.
Yes,
because there's an edge of it that I have seen cut off for the past like however many Poison Point streams, and it bugs the fuck out of me.
What do you mean? It adds character.
It adds character, okay.
Nobody else brought it up. I knew right away the moment that I saw it, but I just kind of wanted to see how long it would take somebody to notice. Obviously, you did. Because
obviously
you made the scene. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, could it have been because you were aligning the chairs to start and may have cropped them as part of the whole scene image?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I placed the chairs like specifically in a way, and yeah, I should have given you like a full chair or something back to replace back there. But
No,
you know what? If you like it, you can keep it.
Yeah, it's my chair. No one else is allowed to sit in this chair. Like that's the sign that the boss is here, you know? And also, the sole creator of the name of the bar, the Flame Skimmer, which was a bit of a play on your Nova Swarm branding, and well, it's just kind of stuck around ever since. I like that. I like when artists put a little bit of themselves into the overall work, and well, you're immortalized forever. And the last question, like one of the last ones I ask, is what drink you'll be. So you'll forever be part of the bar.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, big wins. All right, Elly. I have some, well, icebreaker questions, let's call them, just to get to know you a little bit better. We heard a little bit about this because of what Lyra told us, but for you, why did you become a VTuber? How did you get from where you were before this to where we see you now today?
So this is something that I actually haven't talked about particularly on stream, but I have background working as an artist for Twitch streamers before we even started streaming. And the studio that I was a part of, like we had a lot of clients, a large variety of clients of varying popularity and varying styles. I sort of observed the whole like Twitch culture, streamers, and I thought for the longest time of like probably do that. That's not too far off from like my skill set. I could probably do that, but I never really had the push to go and start streaming until Hololive opened up EN auditions after the first generation. So I tried applying for Hololive Gen 2. But the thing is, when I submitted my application, I had no streaming experience at all. So I knew I wasn't gonna get in, but still, had the ambition, I guess, and the ideas of like, okay, if I was a Hololive streamer, what the fuck would I do? Um, so I had a whole list. I had like paragraphs on what I would do if I did get into Hololive, fully knowing I would not get into Hololive because I have no experience, no traction. I don't even know Japanese. So the the persona and the VTuber that I used as my Hololive edition was also a Dragonfly-based VTuber, and also signature color green. And after submitting my application, then I was like, okay, well, I need some streaming experience, so I'm going to start a Facecam channel. And I streamed on that Facecam channel for about a year. And then I started getting some creepy comments during those Facecam streams of, yo, like, you look so pretty, where are you from? And like just unwanted advances. And I was just not having that. I was just like, please, I like help friends. We have to become VTubers instead. I don't like this. So after some time of like, okay, well, I'm not getting into Hololive. There was actually a conversation over Discord between Lyra, Rig, and I, where Lyra brought up, why don't any of the Hololive streamers or any like group VTubers actually look consistent throughout their designs or have like an overarching story that makes sense when you put it together? And I was like, okay, well, that's a good point, but also they probably did that because it saves time and money. And they probably don't have people that know each other before getting into these big corporations. So then I was like, hey, you guys, do you want to share a channel and become VTubers together, work together, use our skill sets, and make something, make a consistent channel? Because like we knew that streaming schedule-wise, one of us would not be able to keep a consistent streaming schedule. But if you combine all three of us, then we can fill out an entire week with streams and have stuff going on the channel.
Nova become VTuber.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what you were talking about with the face cam. Like, VTubing, and I've said it before, is the gateway into VTubing. So if you know a VTuber, you will more than likely become one. And well, the three of you were all sucked in to the experience together, which is cool. If you couldn't tell, I love lore. I'm a big fan of lore, and I'm glad that you all decided to create a cohesive story and put on all that effort And from what I read, what I see on the website, what's been revealed, I'm very excited to see where your future chapters go.
You're gonna enjoy our visual novel once you get to it, then.
Oh yes, I can't wait. I'm like on the edge of my seat. October 31st can't come any faster. We'll interrupt for a minute here. Jack Frost wants to know, and I think this is a good segue because of your experience in this field. What is your favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
Fudge chocolate Pop-Tart. That's a type of Pop-Tart that I had as a kid and actually used to bring to like high school, and I can eat it toasted, non-toasted. But I understand where this conversation is going, and yes, I see Lyra's comment of I don't like where this is going.
Yes. Could you please classify what a Pop-Tart is to the chat today?
Pop-Tart is a calzone.
Fair enough.
It has its structural starch on totally encompassing a non-starch ingredient.
No. I love the cube rule debate. I love everything about it. It brings me great joy when I hear the groans that it generates. And trust me, I save up points. I wait for whenever there's a good opportunity to get the the PowerPoint busted out. I'm a villain, you see. Anybody who's in pain, I enjoy it. So
I think we're kindred spirits there then, of like anytime you see the reaction of like a groan or like just not having is like, oh, but how far can I push this before they're really like, oh no, just fucking leaves.
I think I mentioned this briefly before, but Pinch has like I won't reveal exactly what they've been going through to like argue with you. They're like getting ready to go full debate mode at some point. I don't know when it'll happen.
I'm pretty sure Pinch has brought this up, but
Okay.
like we have to understand, like, this is just a silly like
yes,
classification theory. Like, come on.
No, it's facts. Whatever that website says is the golden rule.
Do we need to have an Ace Attorney battle really about the cube rule?
I would be down for that. That would be really funny, actually. I will pay good money for a front row seat. So, out of the three of you, because you all bring a unique branch of content to your channel, what content do you create? What do you bring to the table for the three of you?
I do a lot of like the behind the scenes or like everything else behind the scenes, to be honest.
Social media being one of them.
Social media, TikToks, YouTube videos, VODs, re-uploading VODs, making templates for promo images for the others to use, re-uploading certain illustrations to the like other social media channels, making the schedule, doing this, doing that. A lot. Just a lot.
Elly brings the whole table. Okay. And you are also, what Lyra said last week or earlier this week, the color person. You bring the colors to all the line work. Would you attribute that to your background in creating designs for other content creators back then?
I think that helped me get a better grasp of like my style and like what sort of colors that I do enjoy using.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly just don't enjoy doing line art usually. I haven't for a long time, ever since like I was back in the DeviantArt days. I always dreaded doing line art. But during those times of the DeviantArt days, I did explore a little bit more of like, okay, well, do I have to have line art? You don't have to have line art, really. It's good for certain styles. It's good depending on what you want to accomplish. But really you don't need line art depending on what you want to do. So I particularly like kind of more like background painting and like coloring or just like digital painting. So I sort of prefer to do that over finicking about line work and worrying of like, oh, is this pose good and stuff like that. So like we really like recognize between like Lyra and I when we collaborate. Like, yeah, Lyra's strong suits are like character illustrations, line work. Half the time I cannot be bothered to like do my own character work in which it's like, Lyra, can you finish this sketch? Can you do this sketch? And then I'll color it in because I know we both don't have the time to do the entire illustration ourselves. Okay, thank you. And Lyra will, as Rig has put it in the past, create a coloring book for me.
I was actually thinking about that with the very heavy lines that is the Lyra signature.
Yes.
That you can fill in between the lines with. Girl bosses, exactly.
And I think it works well for us, especially since we're like a collaborative like VTuber group. At least if we collaborate that way, then it's like not so, oh my god, one person is doing the work and one person is doing the illustrations.
Yeah, that's good. You have a great dynamic together. And from what I see, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. This is just from a surface level. You all, like, you produce. Like, it all comes out seamlessly. As if I wouldn't know that the two of you work together like that. It's like the whole group came together to make it happen. And that's cool. That's like, there's a lot of seamlessness that on the surface we like, it's good. Oh, it's so good. What if Lyra made coloring books to sell? New idea. Let's go.
Honestly, like go for it. There's some people that I've seen have like Patreon or Ko-fi rewards of they will actually upload their line work for other people to color or to practice doing like coloring in or like rendering. So if Lyra has the time and the will to do it, like I would encourage it.
And then you'll fill out every single one.
Yeah, we have to have the reference of like, this could be you.
This is the colors you want to aim for, but do whatever you want. It's funny that the coloring books get brought up. That won't delve on it for too long, but Bandit's wife is actually, that is what she does for a living. She makes coloring books, children's coloring books mostly, and yeah, your character here coloring books, exactly. The realm of merchandise is open. You just gotta like tap into every market possible. Possible. Yeah, that's a word.
Possible, yes.
So we touched on it briefly when I was talking with Lyra about it. And this may be a theme between the three of you because you all work so closely together. Where does the idea for your design come from? Because you all pitched in little bits and pieces. You were like, okay, this looks good with you, and that looks good with this. What about for you?
Lyra did touch on this of like, yeah, we opened up a collaborative drawing board and went to town, and we actually passed the designs back and forth between Lyra and I. Of course, working with like regional in call of like, okay, so what do you want to change? Do you have any influences or inspiration as to like what you want for your character? Lyra pretty much nailed it with me, I think, off the bat. Trying to make something that would like suit me. But also, my design, I think, also stems a little bit from my preference with girls. my ideal type technically looks like this. And the type of persona and character that I want to portray is basically my ideal type. I will not deny that. I am very open about this. There are quite a few characters that I like that have similar features here and there. And we just we get a bunch of inspiration and throw them towards Lyra, and then Lyra draws something, and then we go, hey, yeah, I like that. Or like, hey, could you just like change this like little bit, just because I want to see. So like the like my sleeve like holographic pattern thing on like the blue on my sleeves, like that was my idea because I just really like that sort of material. But yeah, Lyra was able to work it in very nicely.
See, it's funny that you mentioned the sleeve just now. Just as with the chair, I did not notice that part of your arm is cut off.
It's okay.
And the blanket is not hiding your...
Move the blanket slightly, drag it.
Look, I've said this many times before. Like, legs and like below the boobs are worthless. They mean nothing to anybody. The real breadwinner is everything above that. So...
I mean, I even gave you these blankets to hide that, exactly.
Damn it. You're like my mom, who's just like, yeah, no excuses. I know, and I love these
Wear
blankets.
jackets.
Very nice. They're so very pretty and warm. My pants are styling. I know, look, bottom halves are fine, but they're not necessary. I've proven this time and time again. Like, you could sit in it. Never mind. We're done with this conversation. That would last forever. So I asked Lyra this, and I am curious, like, how you feel about your design. This is not to say that you're not happy with it. This is like a what if beyond AU for what your characters have. If there was something else that you could go with, would you go with anything different? Any new designs, new character?
Okay, so we consider my current design very protagonist, very like, this is your main character, this is the girl that you want to like root for and stuff like that. Like, I would kind of want to try like a more androgynous look as a different persona, or like a different like VTuber, because like how I am portrayed now is very much me trying to come out of my shell as someone more feminine than I am actually normally. Me as a person offline, while I'm while I'm coming to terms with like certain femininity, I also really like more of a androgynous style, and I kind of wish I had more of a closet and outfit like aesthetic to pull off like a really tough looking like borderline like punk aesthetic, or like cool androgynous aesthetic, but I just don't have that right now, and also clothes are a lot of money.
This is true.
So like me offline, I'm more of like a leather jacket lesbian type of aesthetic, so having something like that would be a fun experiment, at least.
Okay. So I can sort of envision it now. Like, I can see what you're going for, and it would be cool to see, like, because you are always updating your models, you're always bringing new outfits to the table. It would be cool to see something like that, beyond the AU for you.
Yeah.
Which is cool and completely within your grasp, because you're a group of artists and collaborate on that. The most free. which is huge.
Mhm.
Now, I know you just finished your visual novel, but do you have anything planned in the future? Any special projects that you might be able to tease us on or talk about?
One thing that I actually haven't even mentioned to like Rig or Lyra is
Oh,
that I'm actually working on update. Well, no, I have kind of like teased this to them of updating our stream design. And like that's some of the reason why a lot of our channel point redeems actually aren't on our channel because I'm trying to update things. But I want to update our overlays. I want to update some of the screens. I want to make a new starting screen. And also on the topic of making a new starting screen, I was going to commission the composer that actually did the music for our visual novel because the music in that turned out so great and I had such a fun time working with our composer October that I was like, okay, now I need you to make custom music for our stream, please, because I'm sick and tired of the current one. We've had it for like we're over a year now.
you gotta branch out, try new things.
Make something custom. I want our own like anime opening, basically.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even know because October joined the server and they followed here, and I was like, okay, they must be a viewer of yours. I didn't realize that they were the composer for your game.
I found October through the Discord server that actually set up the visual novel jam. Because she was like, hey, I'm looking for a team. So I went through like a bunch of composers' pages and like Twitter profiles of like, okay, like what is your style? What do you like? And I found that October actually has a lot of similar interests and genres that we do. So I actually messaged October at like 3 in the morning or something
Huge.
with a big paragraph of like, hi, I'm looking for a composer. Here's what it is. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's my inspirations for certain tracks. Do you think you can do it? I'm so sorry that I'm messaging you at 3 a.m. You do not need to respond like that immediately. But she did respond and was like, yeah, this is like totally on board with stuff that I like. So yeah, we worked together. I handed a very lengthy Google document to her and was like, okay, well, I actually don't know very much about music, but here's a bunch of tracks that I like from video games. Can you make something like this, maybe? And yeah, October hit it out of the park. Like every track that is in Red Zero is like banger, honestly. And there's a couple tracks in there that actually weren't planned because I didn't have the scene planned until the last week of the visual novel jam.
Oh
And
my
October
goodness.
was like, hey, I'm just making sure everything is like okay with you. Like, does everything work okay? And she was like, do you need anything else? And I told her like, I am so sorry that this is so last moment, but can you make a track for this scene? And she killed it. She killed it. It is such a great scene, like because of the music, everything like works well with the atmosphere. I like love every bit of like music that she has made for us.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to make it work out. It has me curious. I don't know if you logged how many hours you worked. How long do you think it took you to finish the game in all?
Okay, so there were some times of like, oh yeah, I'll take a Final Fantasy break. I'll take a break for this and that. But I basically worked nonstop on the game and assets for the game throughout the entire month of September. Like it honestly is kind of bad, but I even blew off some family events in order to work on the game because I was so stressed. There were so many things in the game that I wanted in there, and that I was like, okay, no, there's no way that I'm cutting this. There's like, it just wouldn't make sense if I cut this. So I just nose to the grindstone. We're programming this in, we're making this happen. I delegate as much work as I possibly can, but in the end, it's kind of like, okay, well, I could get this done a lot quicker if I just work on this.
And hey, you did it. You made it
Yep.
happen. So, and as far as feedback has gone, have people been enjoying the game so far? Like, no spoilers because I want to
Yeah.
play it, but
Yeah, it has like a lot of replayability that I'm glad for, and we've received really good responses to like some of the horror aspects, which I was kind of concerned, honestly. Some parts of it was a little bit like rushed writing on my end, but I had Lyra to help me like edit and like put in descriptions. Because like I don't consider myself a very good writer. Like everything that I put in is kind of like basic, or like the dialogue is more so something that I have a stronger suit for, and like comedy. But when it comes to like making big like descriptions or like detailing things out, I'm like, I sit there like, I have no idea what is supposed to be here. Lyra, help me, please.
I see. And horror, am I saying that? Horror is very hard. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, as a horror streamer myself, I like to try to make things as scary as possible. Whatever I do my little thingies. And it's hard because when you work on it, you're not scared because you know exactly what you're expecting. So I had to put it into someone else's shoes. That's like a hard skill, and I'm excited. I'm really happy to, because what I promote does not match with how I feel. I am a big fraidy cat. So you'll get to see me jump at something that you were like, this is just a little thing. No, I will be scared. I will squeal. So
I'm like the not well, I guess kind of the opposite of like, I'm really like desensitized to a lot of horror by now, that I look at anything in like any horror per se, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. That's a cool effect. Good job, guys. That would scare someone. It doesn't scare me, but
Yep.
it scares someone. In which I'm maybe not the best person to like try watching a horror movie with for a reaction alone. I'm the type of person that sits in a horror movie to hear other people scream.
You would love to sit in one with me then. Although I am the silent screamer. I like, you could see it all over my face. It's plastered. I'm clutching things because I holding the blanket up close to my nose.
You're hiding. You're
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've never been able to handle it except for psychological horror. That is my favorite, one of my favorite genres ever. And that, while it scares me, I am able to sit through it out of intrigue. Like, I just want to see what happens next. So PK will spend the whole movie bawling.
I'm so sorry, but also I would laugh my head off watching people bawl at horror movies. Like this isn't something new for me. Like my friends in high school and stuff, like we used to have horror movie nights, and there's always the friend that's the screamer, and it's the screamer that makes my night every time. The slightest door frame creak open, they jump out of their seat. I'm there, like, covering my mouth, laughing at them. But you know, I don't want to be mean, but I enjoy the reaction.
Now you're starting to sound like a villain.
We do have our wonderful viewer Hato who went to bed and was like, has anyone ever told you, Elly, that you're scary? And I was like, no, but I can see it.
The quote unquote protagonist with the very very sinister side.
Yeah.
You could hydrate yourself with my tears. Now, that does beg the question. All in all, being the protagonist, quote, well, like, as far as your looks, what does it mean for you to come home and get on your computer and be Elly?
I kind of have to put myself into a different headspace. As much as I would like to be like, oh yeah, I'm just like myself on stream, I do have a sort of image that I want myself to be while on stream of like, oh yeah, the more like happy, energetic, reactive person, or like, yeah, the protagonist energy. I feel like I'm a little bit maybe more quiet off stream, and maybe not as outgoing. Like, I try really hard to be outgoing and be social. Like, it was very different for me when we were starting out, because I took it upon myself to like be the social media manager for us and like try and reach out to like kind of get friends, of like interact with other people, but that's not something that I'm really like used to. I actually have a friend that I kind of base some of the persona of that I use off of, and that friend is gonna end up being a VA in our visual novel, actually.
Hey. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, but I've had people like say to me like, "Oh, like usually you're like so happy and stuff like on stream," that they think that something's wrong with me, like just on Discord or if I'm just like chilling, and I have to be like, suspend your disbelief for a little bit and like chill. There's a person behind this, and I'm not happy 24/7. No one should be happy 24/7. It is meant to be like entertainment. It's meant to be a character. Although I do voice my views and opinions very frequently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say in that regard that you are introverted?
I am, I think, closer to ambivert.
Okay.
Of which there are certain times where, yes, I will put myself out there. I wasn't used to doing this but I do enjoy social aspects and like group related stuff. I like being a part of things. However, I do take time to recharge, and I notice that even like the more that I socialize, the more time that I need to like spend kind of like quiet and like to myself in order to like mentally be okay of like, I know what I want to do. I am okay. I am not going to like dissolve out of socializing for a long time. And when I'm in that state, pretty much the only person that I will like allow and like prod and be like, hey, do you want to do stuff? Do you want to like play Final Fantasy or do something else or watch movies? Lyra is the only person that I will consistently be like, hey, let's do something. I'm tired, but let's do something. Because Lyra doesn't like drain my social battery, but I've known Lyra for like so long that I'm used to Lyra's presence.
Yeah, as an introvert myself, I get I feel you 100%. I've trained myself to have this personality even back in the day when I wasn't doing like the more subdued, subtle stuff. And it is funny because after all of these, every single time, we're doing like the post stream chat, and I have the least amount of words to say. I love my guests. I always love to have them on. I love when they just talk my ear off at the end. But I feel so bad when I'm like, you got it.
Sometimes it's just head empty, no thoughts, honestly, of like, what do I even say to you now?
I just talked to you for 2 hours, but, you know, I always like to reach out as often as I can, like the next day, just to say thank you, because I'm the biggest introvert I know. I love people, but they drain me beyond all belief. I only have like 1 or 2 big social batteries in my life that I could just continually talk 24/7 with. One of them being Space Buffoon, because Space Buffoon always leads an interesting conversation. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll give Buffy love for a little bit. Okay.
And I really appreciate Buffy. Like when we were doing the Monster Hunter streams, there was like a few weeks I think that I was like, I'm sorry, we are not having Monhun this week because my social battery is dead and I don't think I can take doing Monhun this week. And Buffy was like, oh yeah, totally understandable. Just let me know.
Yeah, Buffy is extremely flexible and understanding.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes even the day of, because I'll be sick or like have a bad day on the day that we're like planning something, and boom, Buffy is just like ready to go the next day, like doing something different, whatever that needs to be done. Yeah, love that clown. Okay. Everybody go follow Space Buffoon. I'm sure everybody here who is, currently listening to this interview already does, because, well, your group and Buffy are very well intertwined, so. Now that begs the question. Hashtag loves that clown. I had this written down this way, but I didn't mean to go over the cube rule so early on, but I will read this verbatim. Oh, master of the cube rule, what is a pizza folded in half called? And it's a calzone. We already did the calzone part, but... what had you so interested in the cube rule?
I mean, it started out as a little bit of me going through this like website and like presentation that I found on the internet, or actually I don't remember if it was through the internet or through Tumblr. I just remember bringing it up, and actually I first brought it up with my cousin Zaya, and like I was drawing, I think, emotes for him at the time on stream, and then we went through the cube rule, and people started not liking what was being said in the cube rule. So I kept bringing it up and kept being like, okay, but like, what if Lyra goes through the cube rule? What if Rig goes through the cube rule? And we made it a channel point redeem, and it honestly just like exploded from there.
Yes.
Anyone who like knew of us and knew of the cube rule was like, what the hell is the cube rule? And I would be like, well, if you want to sit through a 10-minute explanation at least, I can go through this presentation. So like even on other people's streams, sometimes they'd be like, oh yeah, like mentioning to their chat, like, have you guys heard of this cube rule thing? It's like really weird. Elly, are you in chat? Can you tell us or give us the links to the cube rule? And me being the enabler of chaos that I am, it's just like, here, take it, do the presentation.
Lyra saying, I'm so glad it's gone.
I mean, it's
Is it?
not gone. It's just disabled.
For now. Someday. uh, I love it. I love it as a concept, but I will not make you go through it on this stream because you just streamed the visual novels for 6 hours. I don't want to save your voice.
I mean, we have the cube roll. I think like uploaded as like a highlight on Twitch if anyone is like that interested. Oh, and it's also on our TikTok now because we actually put the cube rule in our dating sim game. Like every slide is in the dating sim game, and if you go through a specific route, you can have Academy School AU Elly give you the cube rule.
Yes, I included a little bit of that in the intro video for you. Buffy saying, my first time watching the cube rule slideshow gave me the same existential dread I got from that how small is the earth in the universe video. Is it an existential crisis starter, do you feel?
Yeah. Yes, because there's people that just don't want to turn off their brain and be like, yeah, this is just a silly classification system. There's people that are like, no, this makes no sense at all. Why would you call ramen this? And I'm like, because it's funny. Not everything has to be serious. Not everything has to make sense. What if we just call these silly little words? Like, nothing really matters in the end of how you classify things. But people get so angry at it and so like, this does not make sense at all. Why would you do this? This is blasphemy. That, I don't know. I get the same enjoyment of watching people not enjoy the cube rule as watching people go through horror stuff.
You and I are the same in that regard. Actually, it's funny because later on we'll be doing this. The hypothetical theoretical was born from that exact experience.
Mindset.
Yeah, I would put my friends through the most horrendous questions. One of which, the most infamous one being, 3 spheles show up at your door. What do you do? And I kept going, and like I had people angry with me in VC as I described this scenario, and I loved it. I was laughing the entire time.
So when you did the hypothetical questions with Lyra, last poison points, I specifically wrote like, I love this, because Lyra had the reaction that I was kind of hoping for, of just like, what? Why are we even considering this? Why is this considered gay? Do you have other people with you? Just like mind broken. And I love that sort of reaction.
Yeah, nowadays my friend group is so used to it, they're just like, yeah, it'd be like this. But every once in a while I find one that just, the first response I get to the question is no. Just no. And I love it. It makes me happy. It's the highlight of my night.
Lyra's probably rolling her eyes and being like, this girl, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, Lyra, keep doing your support stuff in Final Fantasy. We got you covered.
Not really? Okay.
Not really? Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be harsh. I do it with the utmost love. It's what we call bully.
Well, question's kind of out of left field. I don't know what else you're expecting. I usually say like, yeah, I'm like basically Lyra's little sister of being the little shit energy sometimes.
Yes, you and I are exactly the same. I've been christened the title the shitter in my friend group, so it just comes in my nature. I can't help it.
Maybe this is Sagittarius thing.
Oh, you know what? Maybe. I don't know. Whenever I talk to other Sagittarius, there's like so many different like aspects and qualities that we have. Like I hear people talk about the loyalty, like loyal as a dog. But then for some reason, people on the other side of the spectrum say that we're not loyal, and it's weird. We are the weirdest ones, I feel.
Maybe it's like loyal to people, but like not committing to things. Because I
Yeah.
have heard the thing of like, yeah, Sagittariuses don't like commitments. And I think maybe that's not to like people specifically. I think that's more to like situations of I don't want to be tied down by this situation, but I love my friends and I want to do things for my friends and I'm loyal to my friends. Just I don't want to be locked in this one time commitment.
Mhm. The we are the little cat underneath the covers, and the caption of the meme is "Sorry, I'm busy this evening." And then what we're doing is just lazing about and
Yes.
hiding. We're watching all the shows that we missed.
I gotta
All
get
right.
caught up in my anime.
Come on, I'm at the best part. You want me to do this, and that? Oh, come on. So, in terms of lore, getting into more of the lore questions, as a member of Nova Swarm, what role do you govern for your team?
I am the frontline pilot. I'm the one that you send into battle to slash and shoot things. I mainly take orders of like where we're going, and Lyra feeds me strategies of like what is happening in certain locations. But I'm the one in the field, fighting, going through everything. That's mainly my role. I'm the soldier out there.
Okay. Now, with Lyra's example of like MMO roles, would you say that you are the glass cannon, or do you fulfill like a sub tank role?
Probably get closer to glass cannon.
Okay.
Like my role is more of like the DPS of like high damage, not really focused on, or like probably should not be the one defending things. I get in, I get out. My warden is the fastest of all of us. Yeah, speed, precision, like kind of assassination-ish level of precision and speed, I guess, is sort of needed. Like my warden has a bow and arrow in case I need long-range attacks. I use dual blades, so two swords for going around slashing stuff, and they're like hard light swords, so stuff that actually works on my cores and what we're fighting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's basically it. I don't really do much support though. There are any tanky stuff as far as our warden roles go.
Fair enough. And you mentioned your wardens because I have just referred to them as your mechs, your vehicles. Do you prefer to fight in them, or is that the only way you can fight the mic cores, or do you sometimes go in as like a foot soldier?
There are also missions where we do have to go in as foot soldiers of like more so like retrieval missions, I'd say, of like, oh yeah, there's like this specific group of life forms that we need to like protect and make sure that they get out okay, and there's probably gonna be like smaller mycores around here. But the wardens are mostly useful if the situation has gone out of hand and they grow in size and turn into this one big golem, if you will, or amalgamation, in which being a little foot soldier and running around isn't exactly gonna work on something the size of a skyscraper.
This is fair. This is fair. Welcome on in, Raiders. Thank you for joining us. We are currently on our lore segment for Elly and our interviewee this evening. We'll get the guest shout out there. And, join the Discord, as the voice commands betray me all the time. But hopefully you can grab yourself a snack. Thank you for the raid. And, well, it's chill vibes. It's always chill vibes in these streams. Sometimes. Okay, so I talked about it a little bit with Lyra. We were talking about the different types of mycors, but I wanted to, because this question popped up after the interview for me. What happens to a planet that you can't save? Like, is there any protocol that you follow when you can't save a planet from the mycors?
I'm going to say that that's classified.
Oh no.
We do have protocols, except I don't want to say it because the protocols that we would take, like, we don't want to get to that point, and saying what we would do might install a little bit of fear among anyone that knows that their planet is basically doomed. So redacted is what I'll tell you.
I think we get like a big picture of that. Have there been any planets in that regard that you have been unable to save in your service time?
No, we've been pretty successful. Our team is like really good. Or, well, considering they only assigned us to be a trio versus a group of like 10, we kind of have to be good skill-wise as far as squadrons go. So I myself have never encountered that drastic of a situation of basically saying there's nothing we can do, because usually there's something we can do. But yeah, otherwise, not really.
Okay. I only ask because I'm devilish, and I figured a question out of left field might get me some information, but classified, I can't really breach that boundary.
Yeah.
So, in that respects, the three of you are more like you are all squad leaders, just on a team. Like, you can pull the weight of 10 people on your own.
Yeah, basically, because the usual like average squad member like count is usually like 5 to 10 people. But because of all of our capabilities, they were like, yeah, no, you three can go play. Highly efficient. Though I will say, maybe also because other squadrons don't typically have an android on their team. We're kind of a special case of having Lyra. So the work that Lyra would have to do specifically is usually separated between 2 or more members or 2 or more operators.
And there's no like real burnout that happens because of the capabilities that she has.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a special little friend, something that you would be akin to call a mascot.
Yes.
In the form of Boo. We all love Boo, the little silly fella. What role does Boo perform for you?
He is the moral support of the team. He keeps my bed warm. He makes sure that I have someone to snuggle and hug when going to bed. Boo also likes drawing, and will sometimes draw silly little doodles and stuff like that, and just moral support. I wasn't allowed to have a lot of pets growing up, so I more so confided in stuffed animals. So yeah. Boo.
I love that both Rig and Lyra instantly at the defense, just like A valued member of the team. The vibe checker. I love it. I have this image in my brain of like the three of you, for whatever reason, like, okay, hypothetically, theoretically, defeated, and before the Mycors can come around, Boo in the custom mech comes to save you all.
So this is not a spoiler for a visual novel, because I have not put this in there, and I don't think I'm going to put this in there, but there was a time where I was like, I wonder if I should make a separate route that's just like Boo is there to save the day.
Yes.
Boo comes in and does all this stuff, and Boo is your hero, and it'd be kind of like a joke ending, and most people would be like, what the hell is going on? Why is this suddenly in crayon? But
Yeah.
that was one of my ideas that I was entertaining for a little bit of like, I mean, I could do that if I had time.
Yeah, the Crayola ending scene with
Yes.
it is Boo's route would be so funny. I love it. It would be at the bare minimum a great piece of art to entertain. Like even if you don't put it into your game. Would you like? I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. So like the three of you were not always obviously just instantly in the know about being a squad. Where did you all originate from? Well, as far as your training goes, I should say.
Oh, okay. So Rig and I both had to undergo training at a Swarm Academy. Mine is Altebe? Yeah, Altebe, I think, has one of the closest Swarm academies to me. Altebe is also my home space colony, if you will, space haven. I more so like to call it because I don't like calling things colonies, honestly. Yeah, so I had to undergo training at the Altebe Swarm Academy. Took whatever amount of courses needed there after high school, and they teach you things of what's going on, how to pilot the mech, how to do certain combat maneuvers, what to look for, strategy, but also if anything happens to you, they also give you a little bit of, hey, what would you like to major in aside from mech piloting? What would you like to do outside of anything swarm related? So you have certain career paths to fall back to. So I took up a art major.
Of course.
During that.
Okay. And how many years do you have to train in order to be, considered for being a graduate? Because I assume it's not just you would have to pass a test, have certain marks in order to proceed beyond the school.
I think it was 2 to 4 year, I think, program.
Okay.
2 if you were super innate and caught on to everything, but I think it took me 3 to 4 years to get my license, if you will.
The first thought that came to my mind was just you were swooning. All the babes were swooning all over you.
Oh no, I was a fucking nerd in academy days. I had round glasses, like you see my goggles, but picture actual glasses. And it wasn't until I actually graduated that the swarm actually does a little bit of body modifications to pilots.
Mhm.
One of those being my eyes. So this eye color that you see actually is not my natural eye color.
Oh.
My natural eye color is actually red, and I get that from my mom's side. But in order to kind of have a like higher level of like synchronicity with your warden, you kind of need a modification. So to sync with my warden, the Imperator, they gave me the eyes that you see here with the bands.
I love the lore comic for this. I'm missing out on so much stuff. Like after I've interviewed the three of you, I'm gonna go back through. I'm gonna comb everything so that I can enjoy it, not as an interviewer, as a viewer.
Yes, so that lore comic mentioned by Buffy is on our YouTube channel, and that was made for my birthday last year. Or that was my big project last year of like, okay, I'm actually gonna like tell you guys some of our lore instead of being like, yeah, we have like a lot of lore, you guys, and like we have our mechs,
vague.
but like we can't tell you yet because everything's top secret. So that was my one big push of like, okay, here, have lore.
Yes. And with your body modification, at least on your eyes, has that improved your vision to the point of
Yes.
no longer needing glasses? Okay.
Yes.
So there was definitely a perk other than looking very beautiful.
Well, like you can't really have like a pilot that has like really poor eyesight
This is true.
in battle. Like it's just not safe. And also we have these nice goggles. Our goggles have more function than just like looking cool. We do get like some stats and like heads up display through the goggles. So they are very needed. Is it
Buffy.
2020 or superhuman? 2020.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, ooh. Multi-spectrum HUD goggles. I like it. I like it. All right. I think because, you know, the hard part is that I get to interview all three of you. And I think dwelling with one of you for too long takes away from the other in terms of what they can share, because you're all very, like, you're still releasing your lore. So this is a great stopping point in terms of that, and a great starting point for a new segment, or a brand new segment, that I like to call Hypothetical Theoretical. There it is. I timed it perfectly. Let's go.
It happened this time.
It's because it's triggered to a very, very specific phrase, and I need to change that phrase. So, all right. So, Elly, your hypothetical theoretical question today, it might seem a little similar, but this is different.
Okay.
Is it gay to only wear a pom-pom beanie to bed and nothing else?
No,
No?
it's not. Like, similar vein to how Lyra answered of like, but do you have anyone else in the bed? What is this one article of clothing like making you gay? Like it's very similar line of thinking of like, yeah, what you wear doesn't make you gay. I mean, you can express yourself and your gayness through clothing, or lack of thereof if you would like, but the clothes don't make the man, or don't make the person.
This is true. I can't wait when we get to Rig, and like I've asked this question again for the third time, that I finally get to reveal like where I got this from, because it's really dumb. It makes no sense. But I can't help it. I love this question because I'm waiting for the off chance that someone has a very good reason as to why it does make you gay.
Oh, actually, That's Lyra raises a good point of like most wearers of the palm beanie generally aren't gay. Like I have a feeling that most gay people like wouldn't be caught dead in a palm beanie specifically. maybe a regular beanie. A regular beanie gives off like mask vibes, but pom pom, nah. Opposite of the question. The palm beanie makes you not gay. You want your kids to be straight? Put the palm beanie on them while they're sleeping.
It's
Conversion therapy solved.
no more aluminum foil hats around their heads. You protect them with a palm beanie. The government brainwaves are gonna come in, and then they're gonna like ricochet off. Not because of the material of the beanie, but they're like, hell no. That is not good sleep attire.
It's like the opposite of like a straight person seeing like JoJo for the first time and like being like, am I gay? Do I like this stuff? The beanie is the exact opposite of it. It's like, no, you do not have the fashion sense to be gay.
Okay, well, let's change the question here. Is it good sleep attire, do you feel?
Of just the palm beanie?
Just the palm beanie. And you know what? We can even open it up. We can cut the palm off, and we'll just say it's the beanie.
I mean, where are you putting that beanie?
We'll assume, for the sake of the hypothetical theoretical, it's still on your head.
I mean, there's so much other real estate that is left vulnerable. How could you say that it is good sleepwear? Like, I know a lot of people like sleep in the nude while sleeping, but you better have a good ass blanket or else you're gonna catch a cold.
You just gave me the most cat answer I've ever heard. Cats with like, you know, they're in your house and they're comfortable and they're like laying down on their back, vulnerable to you because they trust you. But in a new space, nah, that ain't safe. You're gonna wear only a palm beanie? What's wrong with you? And Rig saying, this is true. I legit had a palm beanie in the academy, and my roommate bought me a new one without a palm. He was very gay.
He could not stand for your fashion disaster. He is like, we are throwing that in the garbage. We are burning that right now. You are wearing this.
We're gonna save you. Could ladies wear two beanies for their chest?
Depending on how much boobage is there, I guess. Maybe.
Well, it doesn't really matter though, because, you know, that beanie ain't gonna be stretching that far. Like, you would be surprised, because some beanies are very... I guess some of them are stretchy. Depends on the material. I'm gonna have to lab this one. We'll take it to the scientist. If there are beanies on both breasts, is it gay? No, I think at that point it's just kinky.
New lingerie, everyone. New lingerie trend.
Yeah, we're innovating the industry. We're gonna turn it up on its heads. Oh, that's what the palm's for. Oh my god. Hypothetical theoretical, everybody. That was great. That was a great brainstorm session. Oh my fucking god. Okay, I think this is a great place to take a really quick break and grab some water, recompose, get some tea. We know that Elly needs it because she just read visual novels for like 6.5 hours. If you have any questions for Elly, feel free to gather them up. Don't ask them quite yet. We'll ask them when we're back from break, just so they're all compressed together, easy in a list. And yeah, we'll see you in just a moment. I bring you to the bus room. All right, everybody, we are back. Okay, I actually remembered to hide the video so I didn't play again by mistake. Lord knows I've done that so many times and blasted everybody's eardrums because they're relaxing to the tunes. All right, Elly, are you ready to be grilled by chat today?
Yes. Give me everything you got.
All right, we got an easy first two from Buffy. Not easy as in they're easy questions, just the fast ones. If there were shiny variants of the three of you, what would your shiny colors be?
We would go with CMYK instead. So I would have cyan, Lyra would have magenta, Rick would have yellow. Those are kind of like our detail colors anyways, or that's something that I've been like sneaking into our designs of like, yeah, I want to keep this like kind of consistent of like our main colors are the secondary colors, but our detail colors are CMYK.
Okay. And there you go. The official canon shiny Nova Swarm colors. Buffy also wants to know, what kind of cereal would the Nova Swarmos be?
Wouldn't by saying Nova Storm Orbs, like, aren't you like kind of already calling them like Cheerios then? Of like, maybe saying like, what would the Nova Storm cereal be instead of Nova Storm O's, right? In which
Yeah.
I would want something like Lucky Charms of
Okay.
having a bunch of different marshmallows and like regular cereal mixed in with something more fun.
Save that final. Buffy is self-prophesizing. They're trying to get you to do the Cheerios. PK wants to know, what is your favorite soda?
None. I actually hate soda.
Oh, really?
I do not like soda at all. I cannot stand how it like smells. I don't particularly like it in mixed drinks. I don't like any of them.
Okay, I was gonna first jump to the carbonation, but the smell alone, I can definitely see that.
It kind of stems from when I was in elementary school. I was a part of the recycling and environmental club, and we had a bunch of pop cans that would be unwashed and would attract fruit flies in the school. And it was our job as the recycling club to wash out all of those cans. So I fucking hate I hate the smell of it. It's unhealthy. I see no reason to drink soda.
Yeah, I should stop, and I actually did stop for a very long time. But when you work in food service, it's like the most accessible drink that is free to you, aside from water, of course, but you can only have so much water in your life.
No, just drink water. Hydrate.
I know, I'm terrible. I'm horrible when it comes to that. I mean, I'm drinking coffee right now, and nobody's gonna stop me. Every time you hydrate me, it's coffee. Actually, Hakun makes a good point. I think I know what you mean in terms of the smell, but what does it smell like to you?
Stickiness and like sweetness, that like it's kind of overbearingly sweet in a way. Yeah, like
Okay.
I don't care too much for the carbonation either, but like I've been drinking like beers and like other stuff with like carbonation that I'm okay with it. I just don't prefer it. Of like if you took me and to somewhere and was like, oh yeah, grab a drink, I would not touch any of the sodas. I would grab a bottle of water or
Fair
like
enough.
apple juice or something. Coffee, I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. See, when I think of soda, because I'm a sweet tooth, I love sweet things, even if it's overbearing. The first thing that I think of with the can is the almost metallic, like blood metallic, that it smells like. But also, if you grew up around like the stupid ass fruit flies, I
Yeah.
can understand where hatred would set in for the soda drinks.
And my family has always been like kind of health nuts of like trying not to give me like soda too frequently or like no, they wouldn't even offer me soda because they know how much sugar is in that and they want
Oh
me to be
yes.
healthy. So growing up, I was mostly given tea, juice, soy milk, milk, water.
Yeah, there you go. um there we go. I lost my spot for a second. Lyra wants to know, what are your favorite colors to work with?
Blue. I tend to mostly use blue in the illustrations that I use, and you can even see in the background for
Yep. I
for
was about to
the
say.
voice skimmer here. Like this particular like cobalty blue, that is my favorite color to use. It is so versatile. It is very like calming. Um and like it just works well with like a good range of colors or a good range of like accent colors.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the things that I notice the most when I look at the scene in the back, and it's really cool because I am not a color theorist. I love color, I appreciate it, but I'm not a theorist. But I understand the absolute necessity of one thing being stark against a background to draw your eyes to that spot and then filter your perception back out so that you're constantly circling. And I think that neon pillar does a really good job of that.
Yeah.
What is in that bar? What is back there? We may never know. Wink, wink. Rig wants to know, if Boo is your mascot, does he hold your spare power for your inevitable magical girl transformation?
I mean, we already had like a magical girl like illustration. Like that's kind of the given, isn't it? Lyra's drawn me a bunch of times, both like as a no, yeah, like while we have been VTubers, Lyra has like almost always drawn Boo to be like basically that magical girl mascot.
That's my
It's my
favorite
favorite
pastime.
It's just cute.
So we can confirm when all the cards are on the table. You're at your last little bit of energy. The mech's given out. You pop out and you transform to fight the Mycors.
Yes, totally.
And of course, we need to know, what is your favorite Final Fantasy weapon?
I think he means more so just like a weapon in
Oh,
general.
I don't know why.
Fantasy weapon, not Final Fantasy.
Ignore it.
Um,
We were just looking at raid targets, and one of them is playing Final Fantasy. I may have taken that word into that sentence. So,
I really like swords. More so like Asian swords, daos, like katanas, even though that makes me a big fucking weeb, but whatever. But also more so like I've been liking pole arms and like double swords as well. I find like double swords really cool. Like when there's like the blade at like both ends of the sword.
mhm.
I've been like kind of experimenting of like, oh yeah, trying that as like my weapon, but like they're hard to fight with technically.
This is true. Yes, and even the ones that like traditionally would split off from each other in a chain or like fully detach.
Yeah.
Dual wielding is rough.
Yeah.
We in modern media really glorify the power of the dual wield. It is not easy at all. Movies just make it look that way.
But it is possible because
Mhm.
like the style that I more so know is based on more like wushu and like Chinese forms of like martial arts that use dual swords and like perform like using dual swords. Um I don't know like what exactly is called, like just like using double daos, or like dao is like the Chinese sword. But like that's the style that I more so take inspiration from over like Western forms of like swordplay.
Okay, super cool. PK wants to know, would you get pet dragonflies like how Lyra has pet spiders?
Absolutely not. Dragonflies cannot be tamed in the way that spiders can. Spiders are pet rocks when you like really learn about them. They don't do anything really except for eat and mate, as far as I know, and lounge about and then molt. Dragonflies, like, they need to hunt, they need to fly about, they need to like keep flying in order to regulate their body temperature. That's what their wings are for. There are not very many areas that have conservatories specifically for dragonflies because of that. They have conservatories of like the environment and habitat that dragonflies usually mate in and live in, but they do not have something specifically to keep dragonflies in.
Yeah. They also, I hear that they sometimes bite. They got like
Yes.
It's not a gnarly bite, it's just inconvenient when a big old fucking bug comes up and bites you. Okay. So a no. Let's say that you could, theoretically could. Would you?
No.
No? Okay.
No. They are pretty to look at. They're pretty to observe. I would not want to have one as a pet.
Fair enough. Lyra also wants to know, if you had a JoJo stand, what would it be called?
You're the best.
Yes.
Because JoJo stands are usually named after songs or music, right? You're the Best is my favorite song from a K-pop girl group called Mamamoo. It is their most iconic song, IMO, or like the song that I like fell in love with them for. It is like a poppy, upbeat number that it just like fills you with determination, I guess, like confidence. Like it's not trying to be like really romantic or anything. It's just like uplifting.
Now for the localization of that name. You are great. I don't know if you've done this yet or have any plans to do it, but it'd be really funny to see the three of you with stands, or like stand versions of yourselves.
We've drawn JoJo versions of Lyra and I because we were playing All-Star Battle, but we didn't draw stands per se. If I did that, I would actually want to do a version where I draw my warden as my stand, because I think my warden design is actually like just almost there to become a stand. I just need to like do some line art differently, or like change some things up and make some more curves.
Okay. In the making, maybe. We'll see. Going back to the sword question, what is the coolest amount of swords one can hold at the same time before it's just too many? Asks
3.
Space Buffoon. 3?
3, because Zoro. Zoro proves this, of one in each hand, one in the mouth. That's all you can fucking do.
I can't remember who asked me this question. Somebody asked, how many swords can you fit, like, comfortably? Or do you think that I could fit? And I answered probably like 22 swords. They ain't gonna be very good. I'm not gonna be flailing around killing everybody I see. But I could hold 22 swords proficiently-ish.
It's like, sure, there's 6 sword style, but like 3 swords looks best, honestly, or in my opinion.
Are you opposed to the idea of like stilt swords, so on the legs?
Not if they are prosthetics, because
Re-
I'm thinking like Kingsman. Like those were really cool. Like if you need them, or if you don't have regular legs, or like uh, if you don't have like feet in the way of said swords, and you have some sort of mechanism to have swords on your legs, that is really cool.
Okay. All right, that's a good answer. Like good enough for me at least. Hakun wants to know, do you think dual dagger would be hard? And actually, historically, it's not. I know a little bit about sword wielding, and you usually, if you were gonna dual wield at all, it's your main sword and the dagger. You don't really do two long swords together because you have to swing them parallel to each other. You can't do fancy mix-up moves as often because you'll cut your hand off if you do it like that. So, all right.
Dual daggers just reminds me of in Final Fantasy 14, the ninja class actually uses like dual daggers basically.
Yeah.
And that is like really fluid in motion, and understandably so, because daggers allow you to quickly and efficiently attack a target, but you do need to be in closer range.
hmm
Unless you throw them, I guess. But
and I'm a sucker for dual wielding. I love all of the things that like a normal martial artist or like a weapon bearer would say is the worst thing that you can do. So dual wielding the swords, reverse pommel or reverse grip on the sword, which like barely anybody really did. I love it. Whatever it is, it attracts me the most out of any style. But it's romantic. Weapons are romantic.
yeah.
You can't find yourself a partner that doesn't like weapons, then what are you doing with your life?
There is a like a term of like, oh yeah, sword lesbians and stuff. And people always associate lesbians of swords and like bisexuals of the pole arms or something like that. Like there's the whole Tumblr thread of different members of the LGBTQ with different weapons.
See, my weapon of choice is the spear, because
Ah.
it is very, very versatile, extremely cheap. You can load anybody up, any army with one. From a tactician's point of view, it's awesome. But, you know, I guess that does make me the bisexual, the token bisexual spear user.
Yep.
Lesbians have long swords and coats. Yeah, if you see anyone with a long sword and coat in the wild, you got like a 40% chance of death. But, you know, you never know. All right. I have 3 big questions for you. Christened the Big 3. And at this point, I'm sure everybody knows what they are, but for the frivolity of it, I always like to go through dramatic-wise. If you could ask the next interviewee anything, and you don't know who it is, and I promise it's not Rig, what would you like to ask them?
Is nothing really nothing?
This is a similar par to can you divide by 0? I'm curious, what prompts you to ask this question?
This is a question that I have had in my mind. It's another one of those like borderline, like I just like seeing people's reaction type of questions, because it's a question that was actually raised by one of my friends during high school. She was like, "Is nothing really nothing?" And of course, at first you would be like, "Yeah, nothing is nothing." But then she goes, "But nothing is a word, therefore it's something."
Mm-hmm.
And then that makes you think like, okay, so maybe nothing isn't really nothing.
I think in the most pure sense, yeah, I would actually have to take this up with Mono, because Mono is our antimatter genius, and I'm not sure if antimatter is the like actual nothing, the absence of everything in an area. Because when you think of an area, even if there's nothing there, something occupies that. Oh, hello, Mono. I've summoned you. Nothing is more than nothing. This has been proved by quantum physics. Okay.
Okay, but then we need to ask someone that doesn't know anything about quantum physics.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna keep it confined to the stream because I know who's next. This is between us. Only
Okay.
we know, and you gotta tune in to see what their answer is. My second question for you, and I should have specified before, I don't think I ever did, but this can be non-alcoholic. If you were a drink at the bar behind you, what drink would you be, and what would you call yourself?
So I thought about this, and I think I actually, like, instead of being one drink, I kind of want to be like a flight of shots.
Oh.
So 3 flights of shots, 1 shot of peach soju, a shot of vodka with like lemon in it, or like a lemon drop shot, if you know what that is.
Yes.
And a whiskey, like a really like fiery whiskey. So I want them to take each of those shots one after another in their preference of order. I don't know how it tastes like all together, but I like all of them.
Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to imagine that flavor combination. Have you done this before yourself?
Not together.
Okay.
I have had peach soju and probably like a fiery whiskey in the same night, not the lemon drop shot.
Okay.
I really enjoy lemon drop shots, but like I can only really get that at bars, and I don't go to bars that frequently.
I would love to go to more bars too, but life is hard post these COVID days. Rig does offer up a great name for it, but is this a name that's agreeable with you, or did you have something else in mind?
Yeah, I pretty much had a Flight of the Dragonfly-ish
Perfect.
name in mind anyways. Specifically, like, when I was thinking of, like, oh yeah, I could do, like, a flight of shots, and that would be on brand, because pilots and Dragonfly.
Hey, we can have it be, like, one of the signature drinks at the bar. You were the one who made the name and the setting, so...
And I have been like, hey, Irisu, have you written down all of these drinks that you've asked for people on Poison Points? Maybe I'll draw them sometime.
I have. I've just, I've gone to open up all of them, and then I'm like, now I'm so tired. I went through all of those. I just opened them up, and, But I'll send them to you tonight, now that I have it in my brain to remember that. My final question for you, Elly, is who would you like to raid?
We are gonna go raid our friend Katana-chan.
Huge. I opened up her tab and got jump scared by Loki. A Loki ad. All right. Well, thank you, Elly, for joining me for a very chill interview and being such a wonderful guest. 2 in a row for Nova Swarm. So, there we go. Join. Yeah, a low key jump scare. Yeah, we'll let that really sink in. Just you wait, Rig. Just you wait. But yes, Elly, do you have any streams planned for the remainder of the week?
No. I think I'm letting Lyra and Rig take the rest of the weekend slots before I go ham on more visual novel playthroughs. And also, I kind of probably need a break from reading, so...
Yeah, this is fair. Yeah, take care of yourself for sure. And, yeah, let me get the raid message up. I think I actually saved it and changed it. There we go. It's different now. It's not the wake up one that I keep crashing people's streams with.
Oh no.
It has happened at least once. Elly, as we leave our chat this evening, what is one piece of advice that you would want to impart on them?
Be gay, do crime.
Words to live by. It's a good thing I'm already doing that. Well, yes. There we go. And if you haven't already, you would be a fool not to. Go ahead and follow them on Novastorm VT3. They are a combination of VTuber. So they're going to be guest starring like 3 times this month, maybe even 4. We'll see. All right, let's get this raid to Cat started. There we go. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being wonderful guests. And, well, I don't know when I'm streaming next. Deltarune probably tomorrow. We'll do some more Big Shot. And, I'm gonna go to bed. That coffee's through me. Have a good night, everyone.
Sleepy Kirby.
Yeah. It's been a staple of my, my ending screen for a very long time. I can't get rid of him.
He's a little lily pad.
Yeah, I guess everyone's waiting for me to be a big shot.
Now's your chance to be a big shot. Be a big shot. Be a big shot.
He's just a little guy, a little fella. Now, this is my favorite part because I do not know how to end a stream. I've never been able to, so I just sit in the ending screen here and keep talking until the raid gets sent out. Because I had so much that I posted in between all of that. So there's the raid message. Make sure that you give Kat lots of love. I think she's playing with her whole group, if I'm not mistaken. So. All right, good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.